Of all the students I've ever met, Erynn Allison is the only one that I have secretly wanted to be like when I grow up. Her work ethic has impressed me from the moment I met her as a little baby sixth grader. She knows what she wants in life, and she's not afraid to do the work that it takes to achieve her goals. As ag teachers, it's really common for us to only focus on the achievements of our students. And though Erynn is most definitely a high achiever, I think what impresses me the most about her is the fact that she is genuine in all that she says and does. She is the same, whether she is hanging out with her friends and younger FFA members or showing a member of the House of Representatives how to show sheep. Her fellow state officer team will tell you that she doesn't beat around the bush when it comes to much, but she's genuine in her love, and she knows how to find the good in all things. Georgia FFA members, it is a sincere honor to introduce to you your South Region Vice President, Erynn Allison, in her retiring address. Enjoy the ride.
Kentucky, and Alligator Point, Florida. These are three of my favorite trips that I have ever been on. I love to travel, and with all the neat people and things you get to see, who wouldn't? While I have loved every trip that I've been on, including life-size Noah's Ark in Kentucky and Old Faithful in Wyoming, I can't wait to start planning some of my own adventures. You see, every trip that I've been on has been planned by someone else. I just got to ride along. But going forward, I hope to start planning some of my own adventures. On my bucket list are places all over the world, from Texas to Greece and so many other destinations. But to get there, I need to get behind the wheel and learn to enjoy the drive. Enjoying the drive happens when we realize our potential. Take that leap of faith and share that joy with others. Now, anyone that knows me could tell you that I used to, and sometimes still do, shake in my boots at just the thought of driving. When I first got my license, I would have rather walked the 20 miles to Walmart than have just gotten behind the wheel. I justified my fear with facts. I know how dangerous driving is. About 77% of car crashes happen within 15 miles of a driver's home. So no trip is too short to be a hazard. And besides, I can't even drive a tractor. How is driving a car going to be any different? I heard story after story about car crashes negatively impacting lives, like Amberly Snyder's. It was January 10th, 2010, when Amberly Snyder's life changed forever. She was on her way to the Denver Stock Show and Rodeo. As she passed through the town of Sinclair, Wyoming, she took a quick look down at her map. Just 2 seconds later, she looked up and realized that she had drifted into the other lane, and unfortunately, she overcorrected. Her truck rolled off the road, and she was ejected from the vehicle. The accident paralyzed her from the waist down immediately. Things were not looking good for Amberly. She had her whole life ahead of her, and in an instant, everything changed. But she did not let this keep her in the passenger seat. Instead, she decided to push past her challenge, and in just 4 short months, she was back to riding horses. And today, she even drives a truck with modified hand controls. Amberly's story taught me that we are capable of overcoming any challenge. Are you afraid to try something new today? Maybe you're afraid to try a new CDE, or maybe you're scared to try out for your church's choir. Is that fear because you're afraid to fail? If you're going through this, I'm here to assure you that that is not a reason not to try. Sure, we can mess up, but the real failure would be in not trying at all. The first step in overcoming your challenge is realizing that you have the potential to overcome it. Once I realized that I had the potential to drive, I decided to start practicing. I drove around some empty fields, and one time, I even dared to drive the 1.2 miles to my local Dollar General. While that 1.2 miles was possible and comfortable, anything more than that still scared me. Then one day, my dad and I went hunting. We had seen 3 does and a couple million squirrels when we decided to head out for the day. We walked around the edge of the first food plot, and then the second, and finally we rounded the corner of the muddy path to reveal his white Silverado in all of its glory. There it was, my ticket to lunch, and finally we had made it out. Then Dad said, "You're driving home." I just laughed, thinking he was kidding, but as I tugged off my muck boots, got into the passenger seat, and saw that he was not getting in, I knew that he was being serious. Does this guy know me? Does he expect me to drive 20 miles down a highway to our house when I have barely driven to the dollar store? Thoughts of doubt in myself and of doubt in my dad flooded my mind. I probably sat there for a solid 2 minutes before I built up the courage to scoot into the driver's seat. Dad got in, we both buckled up for dear life. I grabbed the wheel, put it in reverse, and we were on our way. As the speedometer increased, so did my anxiety. My knuckles were white from gripping the steering wheel so tightly. I was sitting straight up on the edge of my seat, and I was shaking just a little bit. As we came down Highway 82, I was swerving all inside the lane, afraid to get too close to one line or the other. But then, we were home, and I had done it. Thanks to my dad's encouragement, I drove home. As we pulled into the driveway, all of my worries and fears were invalidated. I definitely didn't think that I was ready to take the leap from knowing how to drive to actually driving. But my dad knew that I was ready. Sometimes when we're afraid to do something new, the best thing that we can do is just go for it. Find someone who will believe in you, like my dad did for me, and take your leap of faith. Maybe you're scared to go to college away from home. Or maybe you're afraid to speak at your chapter's banquet. But once you take that leap of faith, you will find that you were prepared and find freedom in your new skill. Whatever it is that you're setting out to accomplish, find someone who will encourage you and take your leap of faith. Once I realized that I was not only capable of driving, but that I actually could do it, I decided to start planning some trips. I made my first trip to Stillwater, home of my future school, Oklahoma State University. On January 6, 2021, my mom and I set out to make the 1,044-mile journey out west. I had expected to be doing most of the driving, but after talking to Mom and realizing that she had never driven west of Alabama, I decided to let her do some of the driving. She drove the entirety way out west, starting in her home in Tifton. While she drove, I had the time to sit back and relax. Even though I could drive, I still took comfort in riding. We had an incredible 2 days at OSU. including a fantastic campus tour, an event with other potential students, and of course, some great food. But all too soon, it was time to come home. For the first couple 100 miles, Mom did the driving so that I could rest. We came through Mississippi and Arkansas, of course taking in all the sights and stopping for frequent stretch breaks. Then we got to Alabama. We were so close to Georgia that we could almost taste it. However, at this point, it was getting late, and Mom had been driving for about 10 hours. I knew that this was my time to shine. By taking the wheel, I could give back to my mom for taking me this far. As I drove through Birmingham, I knew that my journey to being able to drive had not just benefited me, but that I could use it to benefit others. I could give back to my mom, who had given me so much. So no matter what your skill set includes, use your skills to help others. Maybe you're talented at baking, so make some cookies for a neighbor. Or maybe you're good at floral design, so make a flower arrangement for your church. Do what you can to make life better for others. The talents God has blessed you with may be yours, but they are not just for you. FFA members, life should not be just a ride, but rather a drive. Take control of your life. Red lights and the things that hold us back will happen, but when that light turns green, take your leap of faith. When you look in the rearview mirror, you'll see people cheering you on. When someone needs a ride, take them to where they need to be. You are capable of overcoming challenges and finding happiness for yourself and others in the things that used to scare you. Don't waste this time sitting in the passenger seat, watching as life passes you by. Grab the wheel. Take control. FFA members, enjoy the drive.
Heads Carolina, tails California, somewhere greener, somewhere warmer, up in the mountains, down by the ocean, where it don't matter, long as we're going somewhere together. I've got a quarter. Heads Carolina, tails California.
While your profound love of lambs and Oklahoma State University is unmatched, we love even more how thoughtful and intentional you are in everything you do. Every small gift you give and random check-in you send shows your deep compassion for the people you love. You have an authenticity that has revealed itself in everything that you have carried out this year. Your unfailing honesty and sense of humor was exactly what we needed. Keep sharing your heart with those around you and never forget how cherished you are. Ladies and gentlemen, your South Region State Vice President from the Tift County FFA Chapter, Miss Erynn Allison.
The only day I got, I don't want